Entrepreneurs, I focus a lot on money management because handling your bookkeeping and your taxes, that's a large part of what you're paying me to do. And it's one of the hardest things for people to do in business. If you think about it, you're taking your habits that you have personally into a business. If you've ever mismanaged funds, spent a little too much, paid a bill at the wrong time, or a bill was deducted from your account and now you got to try to bounce back from it, if you've ever done that and you know how hard it was personally, just think about how much harder it is for you to do that on a business level. Now you have people involved, there are other people besides yourselves, and remember, your bills did not have or be cut in 1/4, but they doubled because the same amount of money you needed before personally is the same, and now you need also money to handle the business, which is why I did the video where I talked about good debt and bad debt, and I want you to go look at it because so many entrepreneurs try to start out and try to make sure that their business is financing everything, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, you will always need some type of credit. There will always be a time where the business doesn't make as much or where a client doesn't pay you on time. And the minute that you're not paid when you're expected to be paid, now you're in a foothold or you're in a chokehold financially because it has tied up your cash flow. So you always have to have, no matter how well you try to manage, you always have to have avenues to keep the business going, whether it's a line of credit, a credit card with a very high limit, a loan. You have to have some working capital, and having working capital means that you got to be disciplined. Many people, most people, do not know what it's like to have money just sitting in the bank. And so if you have not done that or conquered that personally, you cannot assume just because it's a larger amount of money that you will understand and conquer that business-wise or professionally. That's not how it works. If you're not good at managing a little, you don't just become great at managing more because it's more. You become great at managing more because you learn to balance and manage that minimal amount. And that's one of the hardest things that it is with my clients. Because when I start talking about, well, we really don't have as much as you think we have, that everything is not profit, just because there's money in the bank does not mean it can be spent. You start to get into some restrictions and it gets a little frustrating. But that is my job. My job is to make sure you look at money in a different light, because now it's not just you, but it is your business, it is your legacy, and it's the other people that you're going to hire. There's so many other things to consider than just yourself. So we have to start planning and budgeting and thinking that way. That's why now is the time, if you haven't done them and if you're not already sitting looking at the forecast for 2024, most companies already have their forecast together. It's the holiday season. They are not running around trying to forecast. Now they are making business deals and making meetings and setting dates for next year, but the forecast is done. They're looking at the end of the year and they're beginning to look at who they want to retain, and they're celebrating. Some of you have just finished your taxes in October, so you're behind, and now you're trying to think about next year at the same token when your families are pulling on you for the holidays. What you can do now is to start right now doing something different by giving me a call, and you not promising that you're going to sit there and put in your receipts, because bookkeeping is so much more than just putting in receipts. Stop telling yourself you have time to do that. Stop saying you're going to do it differently, and call a professional. If you plan to be a GOAT, the greatest of all times, you have to employ and listen to a coach. We're talking money management, we're talking discipline, and we're talking always about doing business better. It's been your girl, the Queen Bee. Bye-bye.